Now here's another gripping tale from the tombstones of Dutton Park Cemetery. There's Luna going for an early morning constitutional, but something caught her eye up there. Look, a couple of stone curlews. Amazing looking creatures, aren't they? And listen to the noise they make. That looks like the mother. She's trying to lead us off, distract our attention, and lead us away from the nest they have among the tombstones. They're incredible looking birds, aren't they? Amazing. Luna doesn't really like birds very much, but she was quite happy to just watch the performance here, and she didn't attempt to hurt them or anything, and finally lost interest and wandered off to have another frolic among the tombstones. One morning I made an interesting discovery while I was studying this plaque that had been planted here by the Brisbane City Council. It was in memory of the 41 men and 1 woman who'd been buried here back in the good old days between 1883 to 1922. They came from all over the world just to end their lives dangling from a hangman's noose just down the road at the old Boggo Road Jail. They were then transported back up the road to the Dutton Park Cemetery and buried in an unmarked grave in unconsecrated ground. If you were a criminal who died at the end of a noose, you were totally undeserving of a headstone and were simply dumped into a hole in the ground, covered up and forgotten. But there was one man who managed to buck the system. Martin, a fellow dog enthusiast and cemetery historian, introduced him to me. Where's that bushranger's grave you were talking about?
Right there. Oh, it's all covered in crap. How's that?
Patrick Keneath was a bushranger and cattle rustler. He and his brother James terrorised the citizens of Roma and the upper Warrego areas until they were apprehended by the police after a shootout in which 2 policemen were killed. Consequently, Patrick was sentenced to be hanged on the 12th of January 1903, but his brother James had his sentence reduced to life imprisonment with hard labour. Somehow, the Keneath family were given permission to stage a lavish funeral for Patrick, even though the burial would still occur in unconsecrated ground. The whole enthralling saga can be seen on YouTube. Patrick's coffin was made from polished cedar with silver mountings and embellished with religious symbols. A funeral procession made up of over 30 vehicles, accompanied by 400 people on foot, made its way to the cemetery where Patrick was laid to rest with a full Roman Catholic burial service. After Patrick's execution, it was reported that the cost of the government for the capture and the trial of the Keneaths was £3,601, 2 shillings and 10 pence. But his family had to foot the bill for the funeral.